What's going on, guys? John Santos, and today we made it into downtown LA, and we're gonna show you guys how to start a clothing line with no money. That's right. Haters will say it can't be done, but in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact steps, resources, and information that you need to launch and build a brand and business from the comfort of your home. All right, so let's jump into this video. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're a new visitor to this channel. Let's get going.
This video is brought to you by the Ground Up Academy, an online training program and community designed to help build your brand and business from the ground up. Take advantage of the free online training mentioned at the end of this video to jumpstart your clothing line.
Well, they said it couldn't be done, but in this video, we literally just took our art files for the collection that we're designing, and we're gonna make it in real time to show you guys how made to order works and how you can leverage this technology and this new way to actually build and launch your clothing line with no money down, the legit way. All right, so let's head on over here to get started on that process. And what's important to note is that during this process, you need to find the right partners and the right people in order to help you fulfill that. All right, so today we're here. Oh, my man.
What's up, John? Good to see you.
Dude,
thanks for coming in.
Likewise. Thanks for having us here. And I was speaking with everybody about the importance of made to order, but what better way to get it than from the man himself?
Well, thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. So if you're looking to start a clothing line and want to keep things legit, I would definitely consider doing a made to order type of process. It's essentially where you're getting orders on your website, and in the back end, you're working with a partner that's fulfilling those orders as you're getting them. The benefits to made to order is that it reduces your upfront capital risk. You're not shelling out a ton of cash up front to go and get product made. Instead, you're keeping even, right? So as cash is coming in, you're spending cash to make products. The second thing is made to order is like a really fast process. So it lets you rapidly prototype designs, test out things, find out what's going to work for you, for your brand, for the niche market you're going after. And then as soon as you find something that works, scale it up really seamlessly. And then the third thing is focus. So by working with a partner to get your products created, you don't get sucked into all the manufacturing and stocking things in your closet, and every day you're opening up your laptop and shipping orders. Those are all the things that you absolutely need to do to have a clothing line. But if you're doing those things, you're not focused on marketing, sales, and really growing the clothing line. So
Exactly.
it's a really good way to get started.
It starts with the DTG, guys. So the DTG is essentially direct to garment printing, and we literally created these orders earlier this morning in order for them to get fulfilled right here as we're making this video. So throughout this video, you guys will see that.
Let's jump in and check it out.
Do it. So as you can see, this is artwork that we submitted. It's getting into the system here, and this DTG printer is actually reading those files, and it's going to print full color quality photo onto a t-shirt that we provided, and that they actually are able to source and you could choose from online. What's going on right now, literally, we sent our design over. This guy just laid the t-shirt down, and it's getting printed right now as we're speaking, okay? So this is all being done in real time, and DTG allows you to essentially print full color on any garment, whether it's cotton, polyester, or any blends. And it's key as you guys are building a made to order brand and an e-commerce brand. There it is, guys. It's one part of many that come into actually creating your own collection using made to order. Now, it's important to note that this video is also a part of a full course that we have available, which is also going to be linked down below. So if you guys are really interested in building out your brand and you need the resources, additional suppliers, or perhaps a little bit more help, definitely make sure that you consider checking that out. But before we get to all of that, I want to show you guys this entire process to really help you see how you could build your brand with no money. All right, so let's head on over to the other side of this. All right, you guys, so what you're seeing right here is the actual dryer. Now, during the drying process, the artwork that was applied with the DTG is actually cured into the shirt, allowing the shirt design to last. All right, so I'm actually like getting ahead of myself, but I really want to grab it right now. Ugh. There it is. Check it out. This is one of the designs that we submitted. And as you could see, this is obviously just a black on white design. Comes out super clean. And you wouldn't be able to really tell the difference if this was screen printed or direct to garment printed, which is the beauty of using a direct to garment printer to make the designs. You're not limited by the colorways. Obviously this was just a simple black and white one, but we have a full color one coming out right now. What's important to note is that you want to make sure that you create a collection that's cohesive And later on in this video, we're gonna jump into those details as well as to like what you really need to consider to design the collection that's gonna sell online. Now, if you were to do this design on a screen print, you now have two different colors, which they would charge you a screen charge, all right? So just out of the gate, being realistic, you guys would have to pay $50 just to create one sample, all right? By using Applique or a made-to-order system, you are able to design all of these different apparel designs, and literally, you don't have to make them until they're sold. That's the key with building your brand with $0 is in using the funds in the right way, all right? So instead of spending $1,000 on 100 screen printed shirts, you can use those $1,000 to actually go market your brand and start making the sales. And then the shirts are being made at the same time. Isn't that genius? So that's the beauty of working with a supplier like Applique and utilizing a platform such as Shopify. And we're literally gonna show how that is all made in a few minutes right upstairs. Right now, what we wanna show you guys is how the labeling and how the affixing of those labels helps create your brand. Cool, guys. So now that we had the DTG completed, the next step that I feel is very original to what Applique does is the labeling of your garments. So I constantly get questions like, John, how do I apply my own labels to the garments? How do I, like I'm using blank t-shirts, how do I actually put my own brand in them so people don't know that I'm using blank t-shirts? Well, what Applique does here is they actually relabel your apparel, which is genius because it allows you to use blank apparel to actually build your brand. And what I want to show you guys right now is that process. So as you guys can see right here, they're taking the design that we just quickly mocked up in order to apply it and show you guys this example. And this label machine makes it right on the spot. Once she has this label, she's able to take the shirt order that you put in and easily affixes it to it. So it keeps a clean look and your customers will never know that you're just using a different brand. So this is one key selling point when it comes to Applique and over other drop shipping and fulfillment companies is that they do offer this service to fully private label your own brand. And as you guys can see, I created the mock-ups and we sent these mock-ups over last minute. So let's see how it comes out. There it is, guys, check it out. This came out really clean. The team actually made this here for us this morning because I didn't have a chance to order the woven labels. But as you guys can see, it comes out super fresh. And this is your own branded t-shirt. All right, you guys, so now that you guys see how the DTG process and the labeling process for your apparel line works, the next thing that you need to consider in order to build out your brand's products is embroidery. Now, the embroidery process is one that allows you to really get creative with how you embroider, but there are some limitations, right?
Yeah, definitely. So embroidery is great for any fleece products. So that would be like crew neck sweatshirts and hoodies and joggers and that type of stuff, as well as headwear. So it's definitely the go-to embellishment way or way to get your artwork on hats, caps, all that type of stuff. In general, there are some restrictions with embroidery, so you just want to manage colors overall, meaning you want to have a limited set of colors. Obviously, embroidery is created by stitching your designs into things, and so you don't have an unlimited palette to work from. And then just overall design complexity, you can't embroider something like a photograph. It just needs to have like a limited amount of like fine details and stuff like that. So like illustration or graphic artwork, text, all those types of things are great examples.
You now have your design. So with these designs in hand, we're gonna run a couple of other designs on different hats. With that in hand, you are now closer to fulfilling the orders. So the orders that we submitted here today are gonna get fulfilled. And that's the next process that we're getting to, is in seeing how the whole entire collection and the line that you created gets fulfilled and shipped to your customers without you having to be here and without you having to put out all this money to create everything. Because the key strategy here is create designs, sell them, and then make them and ship them to collect on your profits. All right, it's that simple. Let's head on over to look at fulfillment now. So now that you guys have your apparel printed, labeled, and you have your headwear embroidered, the next step in actually fulfilling these orders is fulfillment, right? And I wanna say that the important thing about fulfillment and about this process and the made to order process as you guys are building and developing your brand is in finding a supplier that can do this all for you, all right? So typically, you had to kind of piece all of these projects out yourself. So if you wanted to create your own brand, you needed to find a blank that you could use. You needed to either screen print your design, which required you to actually set up a couple hundred units for production, and then you actually needed to find a sewer that could sew on your labels. Well, all of this is done in-house, and as you guys can see, there's ways to also add custom woven labels to the t-shirts, which fully brand your brand, guys. So you now no longer have to take everything on yourself or even have to put any capital out in order for this to happen, all right? That's key in starting a clothing line with no money, legitimately, all right? And we're gonna show you guys this and much more through the Academy and the products that we have available for you guys to purchase, as well as the system that you guys can access from Applique. All right, this makes it possible to do all this on your own with little knowledge in technology, as long as you have an idea and you have a vision for your brand. So let's go check out how the fulfillment process works so you guys can see that you no longer have to stack inventory in your mama's garage or in your apartment and get kicked out by your landlord. You can literally do this on the go from anywhere that you go, from your laptop, from your cell phone. You manage your customers, you do the work in promoting it and putting it out to the world, which we're gonna share. And then we're also gonna show you guys how this is all done on the back end. All right, it may seem like a lot, but let's go check out the fulfillment process.
What's up, guys?
What up, man? So we got some orders here for you.
Yeah, dude, I saw your order coming through. All right, so when we're doing fulfillment, it's really a two-part process. The first part is just always a quality check. Make sure that the product that we're shipping out is the right product. So we've got our tag set up here, and that'll pull our order up. And basically we have a ton of software automation to help us make sure everything's getting shipped out correctly. So for this particular product, we can get it pulled up here. We see that we have our digital print, our labeling, everything's good and it's set, and the product looks fresh. We will take this tag off, and then a big part of the shipping process is just making everything look clean and nice so when the customer gets it, it's proper. So we will quickly fold it. Every individual piece will get polybagged, so in like a clear plastic mailer like this, just to keep the shipment safe when it's in the mail in case it's raining or it's snowing somewhere in the country. You don't want to show up with a wet t-shirt. And then we'll go ahead and do this for everyone. And another big part of the fulfillment process is we will package orders in a gray poly mailer. You'll see there's no branding on it. It doesn't say Applique anywhere. And we will be able to go and print out your label here. And of course, your shipping label has your own branding on it. So you'll see your shipping information can have all of your own company name, company info. Same with your packing slip. The packing slip will always go inside the package so your customer knows the pieces that are being sent to them. And then we'll seal this guy up.
And it's ready to be fulfilled. Guys, that is the fulfillment and the creation process that happens right here in Applique's workshop. And it's something that you guys can easily do as you guys are starting your brand with no money. All right, so let's head on upstairs where we're gonna talk about how you can actually make this thing happen from the comfort of your home. We're gonna share the tools that you need as well as the system and how it operates.
All right, guys, now that we've seen how product gets made, it's time to plan out your collection. There's a lot that goes into collection planning, and we're gonna boil down the most important details for you. Remember, if you're just starting your clothing line and you're going for the lean route, we have to adapt a pretty traditional retail strategy to make it work for e-commerce. The number one mistake that people make when they're planning their collections is they try to go too large, and they're thinking 20 or 30 pieces that need to go into this collection. It really comes from traditional fashion and 4 seasonal collections and creating line sheets and selling through retail and boutique channels. But since you are going to be selling direct to your customers through your own online web store, you want to keep your collection small. You should really be thinking about 3 to 5 pieces and releasing those collections far more rapidly. So think about a single collection of 3 to 5 pieces per month. And you'll get a lot of benefits out of that. The first benefit is that as you go to market your collections, customers are not going to be overwhelmed by too much choice. So instead of having to try to make a decision of 1 of 15 products, they'll quickly be able to see your entire collection, be able to understand it. Of course, you've done a really good job of building that line cohesion using labeling and really making a strong brand impact. All of your artwork needs to be coordinated so it feels like a cohesive collection as well, but you'll get a lot of e-commerce conversion rate benefits over reducing that overall amount of choice that your customers have to experience as they want to support your line and your collection. The second benefit that you're gonna get is you can do things much more quickly. Instead of coordinating artwork files for 20 or 30 different pieces, you're only working with a handful of pieces. It's super manageable. If you wanna do sampling for your own photography needs, it's really cheap and cost effective to get samples produced for you. So that's a second benefit that you're gonna get out of it. And third, and most importantly, having a small collection helps you line up all of your marketing efforts that go into it. Because as soon as you have your collection finalized and you have your samples and your store set up, you're gonna wanna take that out to social media and start crushing it. And by having these smaller collections, it allows you to constantly be releasing new product. And that allows you to go back to the same people and let them know that something new has happened, you have a new collection, and it's a reason to consistently bring prospective and existing customers back to your web store and get them to keep purchasing and building that like higher lifetime value that you want to get out of your customers. So that's all about how to create and plan collections for doing dropship e-commerce clothing line.
A common question you may be asking yourself is, what design programs can I use in order to actually design my line? If you're a creative designer and if you know how to navigate things, Photoshop and Illustrator are going to be the tools that you guys should consider looking into as you're developing your clothing line. They allow you to quickly mock up illustrations as well as create the vector files that you need, whether it be for embroidery or whether it be for t-shirt designs, or even if you're getting into some of the cut and sew aspects of it as you're growing your brand. Photoshop and Illustrator are great tools to have, and they're going to be linked in the show notes down below, as well as some other free resources that I include as a part of this video. All right, and then the next thing, if you're not so tech savvy or perhaps you don't have the time to learn a new design program, another thing I highly consider and encourage that you guys consider is into hiring this out to graphic designers who are skilled in the trade. All right, there's platforms such as DesignCrowd and many others, which I'll leave in the notes down below, that you guys can access and actually start working with designers in order to create the ideas that you have. Whether you have them in a sketch or whether you have an inspiration board of where your line is going, these graphic designers will be able to help. So once you guys actually have those design files, the next step is into actually bringing them to life. All right, and this is where Applique and other fulfillment services are allowing you to essentially create new products without having to manufacture them and not know if they're gonna sell or not. So essentially, Applique has a new Shopify app that's available through Shopify. So what I'm gonna show you guys right now is how that app integrates and allows you to design your collections, which are made in this factory and shipped directly to your customer without them knowing that it's going from here to there. All right, so come on over and I'll show you guys how that's done. All right, you guys, in order to get started, I highly encourage that you check out the show notes down below to follow along, as well as get your 14-day free trial from Shopify, which will allow you to sell online. All right, and once you create that account, you'll have a dashboard that looks something like this. All right, and this is a test account that we created where we're gonna be showing you guys how easy it is to actually integrate Applique to your Shopify store and then launch your online site. Now in this video, it's gonna be more of a condensed version, so definitely be on the lookout for the upcoming video where we walk you step by step through actually creating this online site and then going to market with your brand. All right, so what you'll do is you'll go to the App Store, and on the App Store you can plug in a bunch of different apps where Applique is one of them. So we have already installed it onto our Shopify account, but if you're new, you'll simply search for Applique right here and it'll come up right here ready for you to install. Once you install it, it'll ask you to create an account, and that's free, so you don't have to pay anything. And once you create that account, you'll essentially have access to Applique's full back-end dashboard. What's important here is this launch checklist. So before you get any orders started, make sure that you add a payment method. Consider setting up a woven label option, which will allow you to brand every single product that goes out of their door as your own branded product. The third step is in adding a shipping label. So essentially you want to put your brand's information and your brand's address versus it showing Applique's information. So you'll simply do that right here. And these are essentially your 3 steps in order to launch. And let's jump into how you can actually customize some products. So Applique has a variety of products that you guys can customize, so you guys know what you're looking for and what you're looking at in terms of product pricing and what you can expect. So essentially, they have a bunch of different options, hoodies from joggers to jackets to even denim jackets that you customize. So for this example, we're just gonna go with the classic Bella Canvas 3001 t-shirt. Once you click on it, you'll find a bunch of information right here related to bulk quantity orders. So Applique does do mass quantity ordering if you guys need it. But if you're doing a print to order model, then you won't necessarily need to look at that right now. They do have an option right out of the gate to customize a pocket tee. So if that's for your brand, I encourage that you try this out, customize some pocket tees. For this example, we're just gonna go with a classic logo tee, and we'll show the different options that you have to customize it on the back end. All right, so we'll get started with uploading a logo. And essentially this is our brand's logo here, which you'll see that this is a transparent background with a yellow and black. You have different options to customize this. Digital print is essentially direct to garment, which is what we showed you guys earlier in this video, which allows you to print full color without having all the different screen setups. Screen printing does require quantities of 100 or more, and your artwork is limited to colors. So this is where you could choose the different colors that you'd want for your screen print. A cut and sew option is more of an option where you could kind of applique your brand, use different fabrics to actually create the design that you're envisioning. So you have a couple different options to choose for your fabric. So if you want to use like a camo setup, you can see how they can integrate some of the camo fabrics. A bunch of different options to use real fabric on the design. And then you also have the embroidery option, which is limited to colors as well, and it's also limited to size dimension, so just keep that in mind. But for this example, we'll go with a digital print, and you can actually see how that's going to look on your garment. Now, it's important that you guys note here that this is essentially just for reference. So this is going to be for you guys to just kind of mock it up and see it on a t-shirt. All right, so you can mock it up on the back, you can mock it up on the front, and then what you can do here is that this does limit you to 5 megabyte artwork limit. So what you could do here is actually upload up to 20 megabyte file by clicking here. All right, this will allow you to upload your AI, PDF, EPS, PNG, and all those high quality artwork setups that you created with Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator right onto here. Once you upload that, you can leave any notes here. So for instance, if you wanted this to be 6 inches from the collar, because you know that that's where you want the placement, you could put, 6 inches, or what standard is more of like maybe 3 inches, 3 inches from collar centered. Or if it's a logo that goes on the pattern, like either on the left or the right, you could say, 2 inches from the seam or whatever it may be. You can note down those notes right here, and that way when they're going to print it, they can actually see your notes right in here and they know exactly where to place it, where they're not just like trying to do it however they feel may be right, which may not be sitting right with you. All right, so once you do that, you can just simply save it. And once you do that, you have the option to buy in bulk, buy a sample, which is something that's shipped to you so you can see the quality of it before you start selling it, or even you can start marketing it with your sample. And once you do that, you can drop ship this product. Once you drop ship this product, you're adding it to your store, and you can set a price right here, which will set it up on your store. All right, so if this costs you $10 to produce, the profit margins are at 58%, and we'll do Wake Up Yellow just for the sake of this example. From here, you can go directly back to Shopify, which will allow you to edit this product on the Shopify backend. And this is where you can add your description of your product. And this is where you can make it available onto different product channels, whether it be Facebook or Pinterest, once you integrate with those. Once you complete that product, you can go back to Applique Selection and start customizing other items that you may see it works well with your line. Once you add all the products that you're envisioning and that you'd like to create, you essentially can go back to your Shopify store and see everything that you have. All right, so these are some of the products that we've been creating over the last few hours. We designed a couple things to add it to the store. What you're gonna do here is you're gonna click on the products that you wanna add. Once you have that, you could go ahead and add to a collection. The collection is gonna be the homepage collection, and it is now available on your site. So what you could do is you click on the online store, and you can actually see it and customize it to your liking. As you guys can see, Applique offers a way to preview those imagery. So if a customer comes in, they could see some of the apparel that you have. But I do recommend that you guys take photos of your own product or use a better generator in order to create, or more importantly, get some lifestyle imagery in here in order to create your guys' brand. All right, so if a customer were to sign in, they'd literally click that, they'd add it to their cart, they'd check out, and Applique would fulfill the orders that are coming in from your store. What's important to note about Shopify is that you are able to quickly customize your design. So let's select on that image. You can customize what it says here. So let's just say Ground Up Academy Store. And it is now ready to be featured. If you guys want to check out the completed store, this is obviously a mock and a test run. We're going to actually add all the different products that we've been printing with Applique onto the official Revive site, which you guys will be linked in the description down below if you guys want to check that out. If you guys want to show your support or purchase a product to see the quality of it, that way you know exactly what you're getting from Applique before you connect your brand to it, or perhaps before you spend time designing some products. Once you guys have your pages set up and you know that your products are going to be ready to be fulfilled, the next step that you should really be considering is in already launching your social media pages. All right, you don't want to wait until the products are actually available or ready to sell until you launch your Instagram or your Facebook or your Twitter or your YouTube or your MySpace page. You want to be able to have every one of those already reserved as you're building the collection and as you're building your line. It's going to be important for you guys to do that, as you need to start sharing the development of this line. You need to tell all your friends and family that you're working on this. And what better way to start corralling people than to creating the pages of where they're hanging out? And more importantly, make sure that you link to a website or a landing page that allows you to collect emails. All right, and you may be watching and saying, email is so old school. It's really not, guys. Email is not dead. People are still opening their email inbox. Chances are you watched this video by an email or through an email that somebody sent over to you. So you need to consider that for your brand as well. In order to launch a landing page, it's as simple as creating a site on Shopify with like a simple landing page. Or if you're not using Shopify, you can create a Google Docs form. A great way to start collecting leads is to offer something. So whether you guys want to give away a free sticker or a wristband, or maybe even enter in for a giveaway for a free product, these are all great ways that you can start building out your email list and start building out your followers on social media. Okay, and some great posting tips and advice that you guys should definitely consider to do also is in sharing the imagery or perhaps the products, the samples that you order from Applique or whoever's printing your products. You want to start sharing those on a behind the scenes basis to let people know that the drop is about to come. All right, so you want to have a good social media strategy, and that's going to be an important tip in order for you guys to continue growing your social media following, but more importantly, start making sales, which leads us into the process of actually collecting sales. All right, so some of you guys may be wondering, how do I actually collect payment for the products that I make? Well, if you signed up for a Shopify site, you're able to automatically start collecting sales as you're building out that website. If you're using a different platform, or perhaps you're gonna do more of a direct to consumer approach, like selling it at your schools or out of a trunk of a car, you're gonna wanna consider using a mobile payment provider, whether it be PayPal, SquareUp, or any of those types of services, especially if you're gonna be hitting a lot of events with the products that you make. Shopify has a great tool that allows you to easily sell from your phone and integrate to the actual cloud. So if you're selling online and you're selling in person and a product is sold, they allow you to track your inventory, which is a great way for you guys to stay on point and on track. And of course, if you're using a fulfillment company, then you're also gonna need to make sure that you communicate with them. So I'm not trying to say that you need to use Shopify, but I am trying to say that you should definitely use Shopify. And there's gonna be a link noted right down below to get started with a free 14-day trial. All right, guys, so you guys can literally start for free. So no money out of pocket. We're keeping this thing legit on how to start a clothing line with no money down, a legit way. 14-day free trial, link down below, as well as additional resources that you guys can use to actually make your brand's launch and additional tools that you can use to start selling on there. Now, a question I frequently get is, when should you legitimize your business? Meaning, when should you get your business license? When should you file your sales tax and use license? And I would highly recommend that you do that once you prove that your business is something that's going to be sustainable. All right, so the approach that we just shared with you guys throughout this video allows you to see if it's going to be a business that's worth pursuing in the direction and in the way that you originally planned. Okay, so by doing this approach, you don't have to legitimize your business just yet, but I highly consider that you put that on your radar and start thinking about that as you're creating and generating those sales. If you're somebody that has a lot of assets, perhaps you have a lot of cars, houses, homes, then you should consider doing an LLC or a corporation as soon as you get this business up and running to reduce those liabilities. But just keep in mind, guys, you're selling t-shirts, you're not selling baby products or something that may strangle somebody. Don't try to think too far into it, but definitely have it in your radar. Just don't put too much emphasis on it until you know that this is a business that's going to be creating sales, because you need to make sales in order to invest into your business. And this is a great way to do that, is by doing a drop shipping and fulfillment model and fulfilling those orders through an online site, and then being able to say, hey, this is something that my customers want. So now you'll be able to invest into that company and legitimize it, knowing that you got a pretty good investment. And at the same time, it's saving you money, because you're no longer putting the couple $100 to $1,000 in structuring a business that's making no dollars. Okay, so kind of consider that as you guys are thinking about legitimizing it, because I get that question a lot. When should I do it? That's when I think you should do it, when you know that it's going to be a product that's going to be selling. Okay, so if you guys have a lot of liabilities or potential liabilities, then definitely talk to your accountant and figure out the right financial strategy in order for you guys to set that thing up. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. As you guys are building and developing your brand, don't forget to plan and set a strategy in order for you guys to grow. Now look, this was only a portion of what's included in the entire Ground Up Community Starting a Clothing Line Master Course, where we have over 35 videos and 15 hours of content to help you build your brand and business on a step-by-step basis. We include worksheets in there, as well as a private group community page where we can continue building and communicating on a daily basis. And more importantly, we have a monthly training call every single month, which dives into multiple topics, and we answer the personal questions that you may have about your specific brand and business. All right, and if you're not ready for that process, or if you're not ready to commit to something like that, just hit that subscribe button down below and check out the resources in the notes that I mentioned down below, where you guys can continue building your brands and businesses. And more importantly, leave a comment with a question that you may have that we can answer in a future video. And I'm just pumped to see what you guys create and what you guys build. Keep me updated with everything that you do, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.